is about. I'm a black man trying not to get caught. I'm just trying to solve the puzzle like a jigsaw. You know it's a big world, so easy to get lost. I'm just trying to solve the puzzle like a jigsaw.
Time on my hands.
Oh, okay.
Since you've been away, boy, I ain't got no plans. No, 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 no. Boom, 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 boom. And the sound of the rain against my window pane is slowly driving me insane. Boy, I'm going down. I'm going down. 'Cause you ain't around, baby. Woo! My whole world's upside down. Sleep don't come easy. Listen, welcome to another episode of Jigsaw Podcast. So we are right side up. We are not going down. We're going up because no one can stop us. What did Joe say? We're all the way up. Not Joe. What was there? It was the other big man. DJ Khaled was either one.
Yeah.
Anyway, somebody said we all the way up. But listen, we are your favorite neighborhood Casa Negros on your favorite podcast, Jigsaw Podcast. A podcast where we talk about how we navigate this crazy puzzle piece called life. But in particular, we talk about the praises, the perils, the productivity, and the proper circumstance of being black millennials just trying to figure it out. Bryan.
Yeah.
¿Cómo estás?
Bien tú también, but I don't remember what the I don't remember what the Yo soy something negro.
Something negro.
Something negro.
Yeah.
It's always a great day to be black, man. Always. I feel extra black today. I don't know why, I just feel like that way. I don't know why, but I do.
My God. Your skin popping. Your skin is popping. Your skin look cool. All the girls be jocking when you walking through the school.
Oh, all right.
That's what Lil Mama said.
Lip gloss is popping? That was
it was lip gloss. It was.
Okay.
That was her single, not intro single. It was her single. And we're gonna leave it at that because I don't know that Little Mama, the mother of the Littles, had any other song. I don't know if that was the case, right? Oh man, you got plans for the 4th? Is coming up, or are you leaving it to the 4th? Are you grilling? What's going on?
I think since Juneteenth is now a thing, I really don't do too much on the 4th anymore.
Just be off work.
Just take off work. If somebody's grilling, I'm gonna go get a plate. You know, that's what we do. This year we're back in the church scene. So this year we're going to the.
You're gonna be at the Ames.
Going to the Ames. You're
gonna be at the Ames. Are you going to be? It's in Ohio somewhere, Indiana.
Indiana, yeah.
I'm about to say somewhere in the Midwest. Okay. Yeah. You excited? You got your suits and your chinos and your jeans and your 4-5 outfits per day. You ready?
Nah, we'll see. I'm different now. So the aim that I used to be back in the day, I'm not that person anymore. So I'm gonna dress down, my brother. Like that's me. I'm gonna dress down, sneakers every day.
My God,
it is what
the way you used to dress, you don't dress no more.
Yeah, I got a couple pieces. I got some things to, because I'm not against wearing suits. I'm not. I just want the option to wear a suit if I want to.
It's July.
Yes.
Let's start there.
And it's going to be in the 90s.
So
I'm going to do either like a chino and a short sleeve button up sneaker combination kind of thing. Because it's just too hot to be doing, trying to do all that. So that's that. What about you? What are you doing for 4th?
So my parents will be here. So I'm sure they're going to want me to grill. So we're probably going to be throwing something on the grill. You know what I'm saying? Just a little bit, nothing too big or anything like that. But that's it. Like, to your point, Juneteenth is the celebration for us. So 4th of July is just more of a time of rest and being off work. The additional part of that too is that I took some time for myself. So I'm actually off Friday all the way through the 4th. And then I go to work on the 5th, and then I'm in Tennessee for a retreat the 6th, 7th, and 8th. So I'm technically, like, if you listen to this on Thursday, it's my last working day. Like, for real, for a while.
Yeah.
And I love that for me. I love that.
I love that for you too.
I deserve like breaks and vacations and all that different kind of stuff because I won't have another one until Conclave. So the countdown to Conclave is on, Bryan. How are you feeling? What's going on? Are
Um,
you excited? Are you, anxious? Like, what is it? What's that emotion?
so I'm disappointed, um, because my work schedule, I had to do a work trip to, I think I said before, to Las Vegas. So Friday, Saturday, Sunday is out.
Mm-hmm.
And they tried to throw another work event Monday and Tuesday
Mm-hmm.
and Wednesday, which means I would have been going from Philly to Tampa to Las Vegas within the span of a few days. So I got rid of one of the work trips. So I'm only going to be able to turn up probably Wednesday and Thursday and take the first flight out Friday. If that. So at least I'm going to be at least get one day in, maybe two of conclave in. So it's cool, but it's also disappointing that I won't be able to get the full weekend experience.
Mm-hmm. I feel
How
that.
are you
And I'm
feeling?
sad that you're not going to get that either. Because I found
Yeah.
out that my pastor's going to be at Conclave.
Really?
And they're he's doing like the Saturday prayer breakfast or something, and they're honoring him with, maybe I shouldn't say this out loud because I don't know if it's supposed to be. I'll tell you how they're honoring him. But I told him, man of God,
Okay.
I said, well, that's good, Pastor. I won't be there because I didn't register. He said, man, text me and you'll be a part of my official entourage if you want to
Oh.
go. And I was like, let me pack a suit
What day is
because
this?
it's Saturday morning, so you're gonna
Oh,
miss it, Bryan. Because I was definitely gonna slide you in there too, but
I would have
you
gladly
gonna,
slid in.
yeah, like, bruh, like no tickets, just walking up in there with him.
And I would have walked in there like I was supposed to be there.
I would have walked in there I am with no registration. Asked me, brother, why didn't you register? Because there's a barrier to entry, and that barrier is $600. I'm not paying that to hear y'all argue about money for 5 days.
Bro, I wasn't gonna pay, even if I was gonna go the whole time. I was not paying that $600. I was paying
Bruh, that's
funky little
excessive.
$20 to get in the little vendors,
I'm
right?
doing that.
Like,
Me and my LBs are, there's a couple of this year they're offering a couple of a la carte activities without giving too much of our fraternity business away. So we're thinking about, do we want to do a couple of those just so we can be in the official mix in some capacity? But most of this is social delegation and hanging out with brothers we ain't seen in a minute, and enjoying Tampa. Keep it a buck.
yeah.
That's what Philly was, and we had an amazing conclave experience. So yeah, I don't know. But I'm so sad you're missing it, brother. I'm so sad you're
Me too.
missing the weekend. That's gonna be the big piece.
That's gonna
Maybe
be
we
the
should
thing.
get in Tuesday and do an extra day on the front. I don't know.
Maybe.
I don't want to spend your money. But where are you going anyway? Where are they spending you? Is it somewhere
It's
worthwhile?
Las
Really?
Vegas.
Oh,
Yeah, it's a convention. It's a convention.
yeah.
Yeah, it's a Las Vegas. It's a convention in Las Vegas. And if my teammate already had the time off, so I have to go to the thing, and we're trying to build some relationships. We're building something from scratch, so being present is really, really important. If I can get out of it, like I haven't bought my plane ticket for it yet, so if I can get out of it, I will try. I talked to my manager tomorrow. Because we have some shakeups at work, and if he's like go, I'm gonna go. If not, I'm not gonna go.
Got you. Well, you definitely let
Yeah.
me know, because I would love to spend the whole weekend with my brother for his first conclave experience. Do you have a black ask moment?
I do.
Okay.
And it's not again Black Ass Moment. For those that aren't familiar, it's questions and conversations concerning Black culture and community, maybe critical or comedic. And this one is really not really comedic, not really critical.
Yeah.
So we heard recently that Tyler Perry
Yeah.
just purchased BET.
Allegedly.
Allegedly. He ain't has he come out and said anything yet?
Not a him nor BET have said
Okay.
a mumbling word.
Well, other outlets have said that he has purchased BET. So as a black person, and this is only to the blacks, what would you want Tyler Perry to do, or what changes would you make to BET to make it more suited to our culture and our community? That's it. That's a simple question. I'm gonna get some messy ones in the future, but that was on my heart today. I think. What would you do if you were Tyler Perry for BET? other
But
than
you know
play
that's
Baby
so
Boy.
interesting. I'm gonna let the people have it because I think we've discussed what we would
Mhm.
love to see in terms of some like house shows and food and HBCU games and all that kind of stuff. So I would love to know what the people think. So
Yep.
definitely chime in. We'll put this on social media and you can respond to the prompt and we will read some of the favorite ones out loud. If y'all respond in a way that we want y'all to respond in. Brian,
Yes.
song of the week.
Song of the
Make it a
week.
good one. It's the last recording of Nigga Music Appreciation Month.
It is. So we're gonna
So
break some. It's not new music, but it may be new to some, maybe new
mhm.
to our audience.
That
And we
gets
have a
so
special.
churchy. You know how you get, like I introduce the song and present to others. I love that. I love that.
Right. And that's all I was almost gonna say, but I didn't say it. So we have a special guest in the living room. I'm not gonna say their. Should I say their name now or
I mean, if you're looking at the
they know
title,
it
then
is? Okay.
you know.
Yeah. So, special guest is an actual singer songwriter. All the things we'll get into more into that in the living room when he comes to the living room. But I wanted to show him some love. He's a singer songwriter. Has good music. You can go listen to
Mhm.
it right now on all the platforms. I'm listening to it on Apple Music. But here it goes. His name is Steve Epting, and the song is called "Willing."
Mhm.
Wait a minute, gotta feel it. I'm giving you what I got. I'm trying to get it. Is you with it? I'm moving, I ain't gon' stop. Ain't got no time to read your mind. I don't wanna be turned down. Just know that I work all the time. Just to hear you make that sound. I know you feel it inside. So come on and take a joyride.
Take a
Let's take it
joyride.
fast or slow. Just hop in the whip and we'll go. Are you willing to come and get you some of this thrilling?
Oh yeah.
I promise if you take what I'm giving, I love you from the floor to the ceiling. If
Can
you
we
let
pause
go,
for a lyric?
maybe we can switch up the tempo.
Are you willing
Uh
to
huh.
get some of this thrilling?
Yes.
Then he said, I promise if you're something, some of this that rhymes, I will take you from the floor to the ceiling. Man of God, that's a lyric.
That is a lyric.
That's a lyric.
Take it from the flow
That's,
to the ceiling.
listen, sounds like a beat cheek song to me.
Mm.
I'm here for it.
Me too.
Ba-dum-bum.
We
So,
need a
all
summer.
right.
No, we need a summer anthem.
We need a summer anthem. You need a, and Chris Brown put out some song called Summer Something. And I was
Tupac for
like,
summer.
yeah, I don't know. I
It
don't
didn't. It
know.
didn't. It didn't do
I
the
like
boogie
Chris.
down.
And it's not a bad song. It ain't the summer anthem.
Yeah.
All right.
No.
Well, that was Steve Epting. And what was the name of the song, Brian? Willing?
Willing by Steve
Yes.
Epting.
Yes. So get into it. Go check that out. All right.
Yep.
That being said, understood and accepted, Brian, you ready to head on over to the Let's Report and get to some Black excellence?
Let's do it.
Let's do it.
Yeah.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are here at the Blessed Report where we shout out Black folk doing great Black things. This buying and patronizing Black businesses is not anything new. We don't just do it in February or on Juneteenth. We do it all year round, right? So this week on the Blessed Report, we're shouting out Boyesh brand. That's Boyesh brand. They are a faith-based brand that is a subdivision of of Blood of Yeshua. They create custom
What a
attire with
description.
what a description. They create
Subdivision
custom
of the brand blood.
blood of Yeshua, the
My
blood of Jesus.
God.
What
My
time
God. I feel like I
My
ain't
God.
saved enough to wear this. Go ahead.
They create luxury custom attire with a focus on unique designs that can be worn by both men and women. Right? What makes them different? They use special performance stress fabric. So those that have been, eating a little bit too much, you can slide in these things. Beautiful, radiant colors that are comfortable for your body and your shape. Hugs all the curves when needed for the women and biceps for the men. You don't want to sacrifice the comfort for style. the way it actually works is you can actually go online, you can order it, then you can do an online fitting, and they can make sure to get all your measurements and everything correctly.
Okay.
And then within a few days or so, they create it and they get it sent out to you. You can check them out right now at Boyesh Brand on IG. That's Boyesh Brand, BRAND, or online at boyeshbrand.com. Go out there and support the Black folks doing great Black things. Looking at the rest up report, don't currently see anybody on it. Did somebody die that you could think of?
God stayed the hand of death. You know, the clauses said it like this: I like living this kind of life.
Mm.
And you can't live a blessed life if you're in the ground.
Mm-mm.
So, woo! Don't get me stirred. Don't get me talking about the writings on these walls. I know that is related to the DC and the 3, but to me, it resonates with so many things. Let's bunny hop on over to the Billboard. So this week in the Billboard, the BET Awards happened. Bryan, I'm gonna tell his business. I asked him offline, did he watch it? Man, the God did not watch The Blackest Night in television.
I didn't.
And let me tell you something. The BET Awards 2023 was black. It was corner store black, Bryan. It was bodega black, Bryan. It was Roscoe's Chicken and Waffles black. It was Harold's Chicken black. It was black. It's Bill Street black. Bourbon Street black. It was black, Bryan. It's Southside Chicago black. You feel me? It is black. It's Uncle Luke Scarred black. What Maddie say? I'm black, light skin, brown skin, fluorescent beige. It's all that. It's black. Mm-hmm. It was black, so much so that they didn't have a host this year. They were just riding on vibes. Bobby Jones got the performance of his life by a certain rap artist. Quavo and Takeoff took the stage, which was beautiful. That was amazing to see, though. Them two coming together, seemingly settling their beef to honor fallen rapper Takeoff. So Quavo and Offset got together to do that, and we were super excited to do that. I'm really hoping that we get like a version of a Migos album from them too. Yeah, I feel like they can do it. Takeoff, we've said it several times. Takeoff was the better rapper among all three of them. However, the Migos have a formula. And I don't know that their formula is completely dead just because we no longer have Takeoff. So I think that they can give us something for the culture, especially since Takeoff and Quavo gave us a pretty solid, it was a pretty decent body of work. Like, it wasn't a bad album. The Infinity Links, for whatever that was, Hotel Lobby, Welcome to Atlanta, or what was this? I think Bars and Captions was the official name of that song. Like, it was a couple of bops on there for sure. So I think Set and Quavo can do it as well. So super excited to see those guys back together, and they just better together.
Oh yeah.
Lastly, one of our legends. She goes down in history as one of the greatest moments in Christmas time when she's saying, "Where are my background singers? I don't know the words." Like Miss Patti LaBelle, right? We know she does that. And she had a version of that this past week on the BET Awards. She was supposed to be honoring Tina, late, great Tina Turner. Yeah. I knew something was off because Patty was a little bit ahead or behind the beat a little bit. She wasn't quite on it. She was trying to catch that beat. Something was going on with the playback where she was singing ahead of the playbacks. It was a few things. I was like, something ain't right. And she eventually said, "Oh Lord." And I said, "Oh, it's gonna go down." Then she said, "Where's my background singers?" Then she said, "I can't read the words, y'all. I don't know the words. I'm doing my best." And I was like, "Yep, there it is. There it is. There it is." Patty didn't do bad. It's just it seemed as if, right? She wasn't as prepared as maybe she would have liked to have been. And then she did not have the support to help her be there. Because of the teleprompters and things like that. She's still Patti LaBelle. Her career is cemented. This moment ain't gonna kill all the amazing things that she's ever done, all the great songs that she sang, the vocal stylings that she's given us. But it was just funny. It was funny. Yeah. It is funny seeing Auntie Patty being a full auntie. Like a full auntie. Like she is embracing it all. I would ask you what you felt about the BET Awards, but you would have had to have watched it.
I didn't watch it. I was checking social media though, and I was just everybody basically, one of the funny memes I saw out there was they said Tyler Perry gave him the keys and said just lock up we all ready to leave. Like the fact of like it was just like kind of like open run, do what y'all want to do, and then I come back when y'all ready. I think you told me offline, like you asked a question, like where was Fantasia? Because she would have
Tina
towed
Turner?
up Proud Murray, Proud Mary.
You been hanging around me too long.
Proud Murray. Jennifer Hudson's loud self could have been singing something.
We
out
can hear
there.
Jennifer Hudson from her house right now. That volume is always on 10. You hear me? Jennifer Hudson sings
Right.
down. She's just loud.
Right.
She's just loud.
Right. But I feel like if the Grammys do it right, Beyonce can do a potential tribute to Tina.
Yeah.
If they do it right and play the cards right,
Yeah.
I think she is the most fitting to do it on the big stage. No disrespect to Fantasia. I just don't feel like Grammys will give Fantasia a
I
platform.
feel like in terms of influence, Beyonce is the most fitting, but I still feel like Fantasia would be the better tribute in
Yes.
terms of vocal
Yeah,
matching.
without a doubt.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think Beyonce, we can't take away from the fact that she's clearly inspired by Tina, but I think a lot of that is work ethic, entertainment, performance, and not so much as vocal style, which is fine, right? I think Beyonce can sing a Tina Turner song, but I don't think she's the best vocalist to pull off that style of music. So Fanny, if we're going black artists, it's like at the top of my list.
Without a doubt.
Top of my list. Heading on over and keeping it in terms of like music, we're in 2023. And Bryan, we talked about, I think, was it earlier this year, 1993, and the beautiful year that was R&B music. Weak, Can We Talk, Toni Braxton's debut album, some great hits by a lot of other, right? I think I just said Tony. I'll finish say Toni Braxton again, but the other person skipped me. 93, regardless, was an amazing year. Yeah. But 2003, 20 years ago, was interesting, and this came up because Bryan and I were just kind of talking about Beyonce. It's not rare for us to talk about Beyonce. We were talking about Beyonce, and I brought up the fact that I remembered an article or conversations in 2003 when Crazy in Love came out, that at the time, Bryan, reporters and people thought that Ashanti was going to be the bigger artist. So much so. So much so that a New York Times article was titled this: "The Solo Beyonce, She's No Ashanti." This was published. On July, I think it says 6, 2003. And there's a line in the article that says, Bryan, if you want to look at her mirrored competition, look no further than Ashanti. The way that didn't age well, and this is no hate against Ashanti, but to suggest that Miss Ooh Baby, our baby, was going to be better than Break My Soul, was going to be better than We Like to Party. I don't know. I don't know. Bryan, thoughts?
I'm just trying to think. So during that time, I'm not gonna hold you. Ashanti had a nice run.
She was
Murder
big.
Inc., Ja Rule. They were on the charts, and she was the voice of most of those songs. She was the pen behind a lot of those songs. Jennifer Lopez,
still in her voice, all kind of stuff.
Right, you're gonna count all those J-Lo hits to Ashanti. But I think in some situations you gotta kind of just look at the person even in the group. Like Beyonce was a solo act,
and Destiny's Child was like at the top. Destiny's Child was not total. Okay,
right. Destiny's Child was the number one girl group. Like, so when TLC like fell off as like the number one girl group, Destiny's Child picked the baton up and
ran,
just went
sprinted.
Yeah. So and even within that, you could tell when there are certain groups and certain people in the groups, like when they leave the group, they're gonna be successful. Justin Timberlake, he was already one of the lead singers.
Yeah.
JC Chasez, shout out to Chris Moore. We talk about this all the time. He was the better singer. He just wasn't attractive. Justin Timberlake he could sing and he had good looks, so he skyrocketed.
Yep.
We knew Beyonce was going to skyrocket. Michael Jackson, think about when he was younger.
Yep.
He just had the it factor. Nigga, Cisco,
Mhm.
his
Yeah.
album,
Yeah.
like, you know what I'm saying? He probably could have, he had a longer career. I don't know why it didn't go with what it was, but when his solo album hit, that thing hit. So I think some people you can kind of realize are going to be great. So for them to suggest solo Beyonce is going to be any different than group Beyonce, which was
And
amazing.
I didn't read the whole article, but I need to go back. But I wonder, what was it about Beyonce at the time that made them be like, I don't think she gonna pop off solo, and that Ashanti was gonna
Of
like
all people.
be superior. Like I know Aaliyah had recently passed, maybe about a year or something.
Yeah, she
some
passed
change
in
before that.
01.
Yeah, so I would have that to me would have been a better analysis if
Yeah.
Aaliyah had still been alive and was still putting out music.
Mhm.
Even though I still think Beyonce would still be Beyonce if Aaliyah was here.
Yeah.
I do think at the time though,
Mhm.
right? Considering because Aaliyah was like that girl, right?
Yeah.
That girl, commercial.
Mhm.
Like the thing about Ashanti didn't cross over in the ways that Aaliyah did.
No.
And again, this is not discrediting Ashanti at all. But Aaliyah had some real major crossover success. So I can see, even though I don't believe that Aaliyah would have been more successful commercially in music than Beyonce. However, if that article had come out in 2003, you know, thing and circumstances had been different, I would have been like, you know what? I can see that. Because Aaliyah was also moving into that movie bag. She
Mhm.
wasn't the better singer, but she had hit after, and Timberland
Yep.
and Missy was still they were still putting out crazy stuff. So just
Yeah.
imagine what they would have still been doing for Aaliyah. So anyway, but Ashanti, again, Murder Inc. was at the top doing great things, but it's something about that sound, in my opinion, that would not have, even back then, I don't think I believed that to have been true. Like
Right.
Crazy in Love was Crazy in Love. Like
Yeah. Yeah.
Crazy in Love was crazy. Like it was,
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying? I don't know that many of us thought that Beyonce would be at this peak in her career. Like this
Oh,
is
yeah.
she's like peak stardom, right?
Yeah.
But I had no doubts that she would be uber successful.
Yeah, without a doubt.
To the point that she don't even pay attention to the BET Awards and stuff. And they keep giving that woman award. Just, I'm not saying she don't deserve, but stop nominating her because she's not coming.
She's not.
She's not. And I know she was on tour, but if she was at home, she wasn't coming. And she got a house in LA.
She ain't even sending the
coming.
video.
She ain't even sending Blue down there. She ain't sending nobody. Mama Tina ain't even there. Nobody.
Matthew ain't sure.
And you know he got time on his hands.
Right.
How we open this podcast up? Time on my hands. He got the time. But that ain't why we're here. We stopped here to also, so when we thought about that, it was like, okay, cool. So if that was the case, what were some of the top songs in 2003? So Billboard combined R&B and hip hop songs for that year. And Bryan, I'm gonna go through the top 10.
Okay.
And go through maybe a couple of honorable mentions, and then we can move on because I promise we got a dope living room and I don't want to get stuck. Don't want to get stuck. All right. So at number one for 2003, the number one song of 2003 for hip hop and hip hop and R&B was "In the Club" by 50 Cent.
Solid song.
Number two was "Ignition" by Mr. Kelly. "Miss You" by Aaliyah at number 3.
Okay.
"So Gone Over You," Monica.
That's
Again, Missy production. So
Missy was at top of her game.
If Aaliyah was still here, could you imagine Aaliyah singing "So Gone"?
Yes, I can imagine a lot of these songs that went to Sierra and other people would have gone to Aaliyah.
Would have went to Aaliyah. Yep. Okay. Let's not get stuck there. "Get Low" at number 5 by Lil Jon and East Side Boyesh featuring Yin Yang Twins was a group. "Right There" by Chingy at number 6. 50 Cent hits the board again with 21 Questions featuring Nate Dogg.
Great
Sean
song.
Paul, "Get Busy" at number 8. "How You Gonna Act Like That" by Tyrese. "Frontin'" by Pharrell rounds it out at number 10 featuring Jay-Z. Some other honorable mentions here was "Can't Let You Go," Fabulous and Lamo. "PIMP" 50 Cent at number 12. "Crazy in Love" was number 14 with Beyonce. "Baby Boy" number 16. She hit it again. They put that woman first. Jaheim 17. "Magic Stick" by Lil Kim and 50 Cent. Yo Girl, Erykah Badu, "Love of My Life" number 19. "In Those Jeans" number 21. Genuine. "Excuse Me Miss" 23. Jay-Z. "Say Yes" Floetry at 27. These just honorable mentions. Oh, here's our boy "Don't Change" was number 30 by Music Soul Child. Wankster, 34. Rock With You, Ashanti.
Mm.
Oh, baby, at 35. Work It at 37 by Missy. Oh, Bump, Bump, Bump was 41 that year. Never Scared, Bone Crusher and Killer Mike, T.I. And then let me just see some other ones that's just maybe, let's see, whatever. Oh, Pump It Up was number 60.
Pump it up.
Pump it up. Oh, Kim, Love Calls. Love Calls. I can't stand Kim. I'm gonna take that back. I don't say I can't stand Kim. I don't know that man. I can't.
I don't know why he has fans.
And then Cry Me a River, 75. We talked about Justin Timberlake. So I thought I'd say that. There it is. Okay. And 100 was Still Ballin' by Tupac featuring Trick Daddy.
Interesting.
Don't know what that song even was. That's Machiavelli. That's the reincarnate coming back.
some of those that 2003 year, man. 50 Cent's album Get Rich or Die Trying came out in 2003. Pharrell had his run during that time. Timberland and Missy had their run during that time. So those songs make sense. Yeah.
Total sense. All right, so let's go on in this billboard by talking about the Hollywood Walk of Fame. You know, every so often we get news about some of our legends, some of our Black icons getting their love and getting their flowers by getting a star. And this year, a few of our faves are getting honored. So the 2024 class was released, and the list includes our forever Black Panther, Chadwick Boseman, Kerry Washington and her lips, and our wonderful auntie, Cheryl Lee Ralph, also known as Barbara Howard on Abbott Elementary, and our original Dina Jones from the Broadway musical Dreamgirls.
The reason why Lauryn Hill doesn't show up on time anymore.
The reason why Lauryn Hill still don't show up on time because her mama had put the fear of God into her. Singing does not pay the bills, Bryan. Singing does not put food on the table. Trust me, I get how you feel. But there's so many people standing on that corner singing they shoulda, coulda, woulda. The choir and the competition are out.
But mama.
If you but mama me one more time. I said the choir and the competition are out. Shirley Ralph was in Sister Act 2 for a total of about 15-20 minutes and has some of the most iconic lines in music history. All right. Well, man, it's such a great movie. We need to do a whole episode on Sister Act 2. We need to do one. We talk about it a lot. We just need to go
a deep dive into Sister Act 2.
A deep dive.
The characters Frank K. Did Frank K, was he a cultural appropriator or was he a cultural appropriator?
Frank K was a culture appropriator. Frank K. Hey Ho was a culture appropriator. They had an example of a lily white. They had a example of a lily white man in their classroom, and we saw he acted. We saw how Frank K acted. Frank K made a choice. Yeah. All right. So, with that being said, understood and accepted. If you're looking at the flyer, if you're looking at social media, if you're looking at the description, all those different type of things, then you know that we got somebody in the living room. We haven't had a guest in a few weeks. We are super, super excited to have who we consider a friend of the podcast and a brand new friend in real life. So grab your drinks, grab your snacks, grab everything that you need, grab your candy, your popcorn, your licorice, and your peanut brittle. Bryan, you should have peanut brittle and Ames in honor of Happy Preacher. Grab all those things. Come to the living room and let's have this dope conversation about Black music.
Let's do it.
It's about to make change.
All right, puzzle pieces, thank you very much for sticking around. And we, like we said earlier, we are super excited because we have a guest in the living room, a friend in the living room, right? A friend of the living room that's decided to come and join us and talk about some great things. So we're super excited. So I'm going to allow him to introduce himself, but we do have our good friend of the podcast, Steve Epting, in the living room. So Steve, real quick, introduce yourself and let the people know who you are, and then we'll get into it.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Thanks, fellas. My name is Steve Epting. I am from Chicago, Illinois. I am a creative performance producer, vocal producer, and artist. I like having fun. I like laughing. I like good food.
Good stuff. All right.
Little tidbit.
We're going to learn a little bit more. Now, for everybody who know, America calls this African American Music Appreciation Month. But me and Bryan like to call it United Negro Music Appreciation Month. And we've been talking about Black music all month, and we got some culture code questions that we're going to ask. Now, culture code on the Jigsaw podcast is usually like a combination of this or that type of things, naming off your top fives. And usually in some of these spaces, especially in Today of Things, we say you won't be judged for your answers.
Right.
But Bryan and I aren't going to lie to you. You will very much so be judged for your answers.
We're judging.
Depending on what you say. You know what I'm saying? Because the culture is at least here.
This is a judgmental zone, I see. Dang.
Now after this, we become much more inclusive.
But
right now, when it comes to our Black cultural things, you know what I'm saying? We got to keep the main thing. So Bryan has a series of questions. Let's jump into it real quick.
All right, so we're going to start off with a this or that. Okay. Hezekiah Walker or John P. Key?
Woo! Out the gate, dog.
Because we saw you as a church baby. Woo! We did our things.
Okay. Y'all ain't right for this one. But I know it's probably gonna get worse.
Maybe not. We'll see.
John P. Key.
You all right with us?
You are all right with us.
He's a lily in the valley.
Hey.
Listen. All the things. Okay, so next one: neo soul or new jack swing?
Neo soul.
Okay. Okay? Good one. All right. Jodeci or Drew Hill?
Jodeci.
Okay. I got so nervous for a moment. I was about to say, cut this camera
off. I like things from both, but you know. And why I really picked Jodeci, they gonna sing like till they can't sing no more.
You see what I'm saying?
You gonna feel it every time.
Every single time. And Drew Hill and Cisco is even documented saying that they wanted to be like Jodeci. So
that's true.
You see what I'm saying?
Sense.
It makes sense.
Yeah.
Oh, this is going great.
Take my money, my house, my car. For one hit
for,
of you.
For a hit of you. You can have it all.
That's
what
some
they
junkie
said.
stuff for real. For one hit of you. All right. So put you on the spot. Your top 5 favorite artists.
Okay. This is always a hard one for me, so bear with me. So
no, you're fine.
Coming out the gate, it's not going to
affect your check.
Perfect. First out the gate, I got to start with Nat King Cole.
Okay.
I feel like that's as far as vocals and as far as presentation, Black man in the 40s on national TV, just like the epitome of like, the sound, classic. So I'm going to go him. Controversial to some. Kanye is on that list.
Okay. No slander.
As an artist, Kendrick Lamar.
So we are now friends.
Who's my other two? This is where it starts to get a little shaky for me. Who else I'm gonna say? First of all, this is when I reference my phone. Hold on, real quick.
It's all right.
Gotta look at that recently played sometimes. I feel
you already know.
I wonder if Nat King Cole is anywhere related to Dorinda Clark Cole's husband. No?
Brian.
Listen. Questions that need answers. Okay.
I mean, they did meet in the choir, but go ahead.
I'm gonna throw. First of all, I hate questions like this because I'm the type that like I got favorites, but I really don't have favorites. So my last two will be, and he just came up within the last few years. I love K-Tronada. So house music vibes, party vibes, and this new project that he just put out with Amine was dope. And I will also say, who's my last one? Give me a singer. I'm gonna just say Motown in general, the whole era.
I think that's fine. I'm gonna go with that's okay.
We'll let that happen. We'll let that slide.
You can't go wrong.
Just the whole era. Yeah, man. It was a sound. It was a feeling.
Yeah. It can't go wrong. Like I say, it's United Negro Music Appreciation Month. That's a great answer. Great answer. I think this is a list that can't be judged negatively. I don't
for sure it can't be.
I made it through.
You made it through.
You made it through.
There was some alliteration there because you had King Cole, Kanye, Kendrick, K-Tronada. I was trying to see where that last one was going to fall.
Right.
Keisha Cole.
As long as he just, I'm about to say, as long as he said like K Michelle or something, I was like, wait a minute.
It's Keisha Cole. That's what it's going to be.
Okay, that's a perspective. Yeah, we'll keep it like that. Go ahead, Brian. I think we got one more.
No, I think we were. I think that was it. That was our list. There is there anyone you want to
Okay.
throw out there for?
Nope. I think we're good.
All righty, wonderful. So you did a great job with the culture code. So far, no judgment has happened, no side eyes, anything of that nature. So we do appreciate that. Josh, you want to get into it, or want me to get into the first question?
You can get into it. Let's go. Let's roll.
All right. So we understand. We looked at the bio. We looked at all the great things that you have done. Right. We're going to strip away all of that. Everything you've done, every accolade, every show you've been on, every song you sang, wrote, whatever. Out of all that, who are you? What would your friends say? Who would your friends say that you are?
Who the homie say Steve is?
Right.
So I'm probably like one of the chillest / craziest people that you'll ever meet.
Okay.
I'm not, I don't believe I'm an introvert, but I'm real chill unless I'm real comfortable around you. And then you're going to get the crazy side and just jokes on top of jokes, like everything. I'm like that in my introverted state too, but it's a difference. I make people feel very comfortable. I know I'm able to do that. I'm the type of person to my main thing is respect. And not respect like you got to respect me because of what I do. You got it's like no, just simply because you're a human, it's just basic. To me, that's just how we should move anyway. So that's my energy with anybody that I meet. And sometimes my friends be like, all right, gotta wait for Steve to talk to everybody and gotta wait for him to say hey, so now we can go. So that's definitely a part of it too. Yeah, and I like to have a good time. I like laughing, I like joking. And I like as far as like chilling with friends, like we don't always have to even do anything. Even if we just sitting around and not talking, like that's perfect for me. Perfect, chef's kiss, you know?
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm a mixture of all those things. And my artist side brings out just amplifies everything and just makes it boom in your face. So yeah.
That's what's up. Yeah. I kind of wish I was one of those people that like knew signs and be like, oh, you must be a tourist or something like that.
Oh, don't even get started. Because I sure be like, now what you say I am? Okay. No, some of my friends be like, see, you Aquarius. I know why you said that.
Right. And I've been looking like, what does that mean?
I don't even know. I don't know the breakdowns of like personality and stuff like that. So.
Me either. I don't astrology. But you know what I'm saying? Nothing against those who do. I think that is great for them.
Well,
right?
What are you guys' signs?
Oh, so I'm on the cusp of Libra and Virgo. So depending on which one you look at, I could be either one. But I usually say Libra, Brian.
Okay.
Yeah. I'm a Gemini. Greatest rappers who ever exist are Geminis, just to let y'all know that.
You're right.
I lean into Virgo because of some of those same reasons. Beyonce.
You know, we would put the signs together and go through, you know. Musically, it's all Gemini.
Right.
What about you? I don't know. I don't even know what sign. What sign are you?
So I am an Aquarius, but I'm on the cusp as well.
Okay.
So what's after Aquarius? It's like, what's that? I couldn't.
I don't know.
Is it Aries? I want to say Aries or something.
I don't know. It real quick,
but I'm on the cusp of that. But I claim Aquarius though. I feel like we're misunderstood. I follow this page on Instagram and it just be saying a whole bunch of crazy shit, and I'm like, only 2% of this is true. Everything else, I don't know who y'all talking about.
And then I feel like with astrology too, like if you use a bunch of words, right, something's gonna land eventually, right? You are super optimistic about this new opportunity coming up. I very much am about most opportunities that's coming up, right? Like, so I don't know. I don't know. It's super interesting how people can like say they can read my life or lives, right, of us based on what our sign is. But again, that's great for them. I don't
right. And it's so interesting. It's so interesting too, because I have a few friends that are really, really into it. And just in having discussion with them, they're just like, so you mean to tell me all these years people been on Earth, there's no correlation between the time of year you were born and how that affects your. I'm like, okay, that makes sense. Like,
It could.
I'm not gonna go
Yeah.
all in for it, but I see what
Yeah.
what you're doing there.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
Okay. Well, that's a perfect segue, especially talking about music and things like that, because we understood that you're a church boy like us. We love the church here,
We
grew
do.
up in it, cultivated by it, but we also very much love all the things of the world. So we
all the things.
all the things of the world.
We're in the
We
world. We're in the world.
We're in it. We're sometimes of it.
Not of it.
Sometimes,
You know what I'm saying?
sometimes lovers of the things.
Sometimes we are lovers
and
we are lovers and friends of the world. But understanding that about you and your background, like talk to us about that transition, or maybe it wasn't a transition, but like that journey of growing up in the church and then landing in what the saints would say secular, but like mainstream music.
Yeah. So for me, my parents told me I've been singing since I was like 3. So my first memory of me actually singing was like around that time, maybe like 5, 6, like being in a youth choir. Any thing that my parents put me in to have music, I was, all for it. So that transition to when I'm 10 years old, I'm starting to direct choirs and stuff at my home church. And then shortly after that, my dad becomes a pastor. He was a deacon before that. Then he becomes a pastor. We moved churches. And start cultivating my gifts there. Joined the community choir, Joshua's True.
Come on, Joshua's True.
Yes.
We praise you, oh Lord. Yeah, it is. Yeah.
So that was my first.
Sorry.
That was my first time doing anything outside of church. So like professionally. So that was my introduction to like professional gospel music, when like professional music, period. So that helped me to start sharpening even more. And then going through high school, in band and marching band and choir and everything. I was drum major of the band, and moving towards like college and everything. During this whole time, I never saw music as being like a real career. Like, yes, you have A-list artists, and then you got music teachers. Like, that was it. Like, there was no in between for me. So it's like, nobody in my family does this. Everybody just sings at church. So nobody has actually like provides for themselves only solely off music. So when I first went to college, I was planning on being a dentist. So that was my whole like focus. It's safe. It's going to get me some money. And family members are already making appointments. So I ain't got no degree yet. But maybe like halfway through my first semester, talking with a counselor, she was like, if you don't enjoy the work getting up to the profession, you're not going to enjoy it. And I'm like, man, that makes so much sense. Instantly switched to music. Because like literally before then, that's all I had been doing, majority of my life. I wrote my, your personal statements and your entrance college papers. I'm literally talking about like, oh my God, I love music so much. I could sing all day, but I want to be a dentist. Like, it was just like, what?
Like
that don't even make sense. So ended up getting my degree in music. And that was my first time outside of Chicago. And I lived in Philly for 4 years. So that was even broadening my horizons even more, because I only knew Chicago. So getting on Philly's music scene, and Philly, the city, period, it was just like, whoa, like the world is so much bigger than your own backyard. So growing in there, I lived in Nashville for a little bit, did a study away program for like a contemporary music program where we were learning how to write and perform music weekly. Ended up graduating from college and moving back home. And so after I moved back home, that was my first time ever doing music full time. So this is my first time actually on the Chicago music scene, like outside of gospel. So I'm finally hitting like some of the open mic spots, some of the spots that everybody frequents for those who do like the jazz, the R&B, the blues, like in that circuit. And so I was doing that. I was working at my dad's church. Now I'm over the music. I'm over all the music at the church. I'm also doing Uber on the side. Like it's just time. It was just it was just getting it going. A friend from high school, I ended up linking up with him, And this is the same friend that was in band with me in high school. He was a drum major. We was good friends. So we linked up, and he's like, yeah, bro, I'm finna move to LA. Trying to get on some tours with some artists. I'm like, yo, that's crazy. That's so dope. He was like, yeah, you should come with me. And I'm like, boy, I'm not going to no LA. Like at that time, I had never visited California. That was never in my worldview. Now I did at this point, after college and everything, I did see myself working more in music, but it was just like, never thought of moving to another place to pursue that. But after he asked me that, I couldn't stop thinking about it. So going back and forth, going back and forth for a few months, finally decided to go. Packed all my bags, had a few stacks, maybe like $2,500, three stacks, and got on that plane. Southwest Airlines Tuesday flight, $41.
Look at God.
So like right there, that's like even like, never even visited LA, but I'm moving. So I get here, hit the ground running, searching for jobs, trying to also get my face out there. It took a very, very long time for me to find work and just to be able to sustain myself and support myself. I'm like, okay, you really didn't think this all the way through, but it's cool. Like we're gonna keep pushing. So literally doing that, but also hitting open mics in the city and taking the bus, train, Uber. Like I didn't have a car then, so it's like, all right, if you want it, you got to go get it. So slowly but surely networking with people, meeting people, and getting to the point where I'm working now. I'm doing work with Demi Lovato. I'm doing work with on America's Got Talent as a choir singer, as a background vocalist, and that leads me to meeting more people and networking with more people. And within the next probably year and a half, that's when Coachella happens with your Virgo sis. The historic Beachella, which was so eye-opening for me. First of all, I was the wrong Steve. I wasn't supposed to be there. They were looking for another Steve. And when they were telling me this, I'm shaking. I'm talking to the music director, like around the rest of the singers, some of which I knew at this point, some which I didn't. And he's like shaking my hand, but looking at me sideways, like, you said your name is Steve Epting? I'm like, yeah. He was like, oh, we're looking for someone named Stevie Notes. And I'm like, so you need me to sing? You need me to audition right now? Like, what's up? Like, he's like, no, don't worry about it. We'll see how it works out. Ended up doing Coachella, moved on to On the Run 2 tour, moving on to Black is King, Netflix documentary, Renaissance album, all the things.
I would have quit at that point. Life is over.
And that was my first tour too. That was my first ever tour.
Wow.
Period.
With the Queen.
So that was a huge, huge. I don't know if lesson is the best word, but huge moment for me where I was just like, yeah. Not only do you have it, and I already knew that I had it, but it's like now, like it's time to like really walk in it and shine. You know what I'm saying? So, and really take advantage of the situation. You know, meet the rest of the crew, meet the rest of the production staff, see how this machine works. You know what I'm saying? Get the knowledge, get all the things. So, it's definitely helped me to where I am today. Because right after that, you know, I get a call and we start Kanye Sunday Service, where I ended up not only singing, but being assistant director and conducting all the rehearsals and vocal arranging and being a creative producer on that. So it was, God is good. Like, you know, I couldn't have fathomed a lot of this when I first moved here.
Because you said, I have so many things that I want to unpack here. And I don't even know that we have time and capacity to do it. A couple of things. First of all, you from Chicago and you grew up in church. And there's one thing that Chicago folks and Southern folks have in common, especially those who are in the church, and that is fish plates. I just want to know, do you like spaghetti with your fish?
That's the only way to eat it. That's the only way to eat it. The fact that every time I see it on social media and people be like, why do y'all have two separate dishes on it? It's like, no,
because
this is a meal,
spaghetti
bro.
is a side.
Yes.
I introduced this kale tofu eating gentleman over here from California. I introduced him to that back in 07. He came to my house after a church conference, and my mama has fried catfish, fried chicken, and spaghetti. And it changed the man of God's life.
It was
changed
good.
the man of God's life.
Mm.
Another thing I want to unpack real quick before Bryan jump into his questions is that I know that band had to. Y'all weren't doing that corporal style march where you was doing that. What the world saw on Drumline, I'm assuming.
What's crazy and Beachella?
No. When
Or
you were
talking
in drum
about?
major.
So I actually was doing
list.
no, yeah. So
You was
in high
corporal?
school, we was doing core style.
Oh
So
my
that
God.
was my introduction, like roll step, flank, all that stuff. Like that was my introduction into like marching band world. Because first of all, marching band is a sport. I don't care what nobody says.
I was in marching band, but I was in.
It's a sport.
Let's do the 2-step Dougie. We playing Earth, Wind, and Fire.
Now I would rather have been in that.
That was me.
We doing the
yes, we was heel toeing at halftime. That was us.
No, we getting the yawns and we getting the like. Yeah. That was my introduction, and I was on the drum line too.
Okay. Oh, that's a drum line. That's the perspective. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
The other thing about this is that I just want to say this: the Beachella version of "Say My Name" is the best version ever recorded, ever sang on God's Here Green Earth. That thing takes me up. The amount of times that was played in the gym after that released, it's probably not even, it's probably ungodly how many times I listened to that. Like my Apple, like when it said my most listened to artist, that was the first time Kirk Franklin had got knocked out of the number one spot for me. I had a few more, but I'm gonna let Bryan go because that was so rich, that whole story. And then this whole wrong Steve, right opportunity situation.
That's the Lord.
I felt God.
Testimony.
I want you to finish. I wanted you to finish, but that's listen.
Yeah, because it's interesting because you were the right Steve.
The right Steve.
You were the right Steve. You know what I mean? And
I know the thoughts I think towards you. That's what my Bible say.
All things work together.
Don't get me talking about the writings on these walls, Bryan. To ask your question.
But I don't know where I was going to go with that. But so you mentioned some things. You mentioned, the Queen of all queens. You mentioned Mr. West, musical genius. You mentioned Demi Lovato. I know I can probably mention all the other folks, and you can probably take all day all the folks that you worked with, right? How does it feel to get that phone call or to be embraced by not just, John singing on the Chitlin circuit? You're talking about major artists, multi-platinum, diamond selling, world touring artists. What is it like to get the phone call, but also be embraced by those artists?
Man, it's always exciting. And I never take it for granted, just remembering where I came from and remembering just first of all, I just love to sing. Like, excuse my language, but fuck all the extra shit. Like, I just love like emoting and using my gift, so that at the end of the day, like that's all I need. But to be able to do it on a huge platform and a platform from artists that I've not only been listening to, but some of my favorite artists. Like, it's like mind blowing. It's like, whoa. And then, a lot of times, when you're in the industry for a little bit, it can kind of become like second nature. Like, you're still grateful, but I'm not one to get starstruck. I only got starstruck one time, and I can actually tell y'all this story because it's very embarrassing.
Yeah,
okay.
But I feel like at the end of the day, I come into these rooms knowing who I am. I have to make myself remember who I am because I'm not just happy to be here. I'm here to do a job. I'm here to collaborate. And you want me in this room, or you have me in this room because I'm able to get the job done. I'm able to get the work done. So if anything, it's not only exciting, it's affirming for me to continuously walk stronger in my gift and walk stronger in who I am.
Yeah. And I'm glad you said that. This is not one of the questions, but oftentimes people in our ages and even older, we have like imposter syndrome, or we get opportunity to get in spaces. And then even though we got the letter, we got the email, we got the phone call, got the request, we get there and we're still like, I don't belong here. And you said it to yourself. You said yourself, like, I belong here. And I think sometimes we just don't realize that. I think it happens to most of us still, that they called you for a reason. They wanted the talent that they wanted. As long as you stay humble within those places, but go in there and be like, nigga, y'all call me. I ain't call y'all. Y'all call me. So with that attitude of like, I'm gonna go here, I'm gonna do my best, stuff like that. So I love that. So I just wanted to kind of reiterate that. Josh, wanted to add anything to that?
Yeah, no, I think that that's super important as well. And I think I do have a question for that. Was it always easy though to embrace like that in that space and show up as your full self, like show up as full Steve, like when you walk into these spaces? Or was that a journey for you?
Definitely a journey. Definitely a journey. And I don't feel like I started that journey until I moved to LA. And that journey consisted of, this was my first time sitting with myself. So in a new environment, I moved to a whole new state. I'm living in a 1-bedroom apartment with my brother at the time. I don't have a job. I don't have a car. It's like, I left all those things that I did have in Chicago. So it's like an intentional leave. But I definitely understood the difference between a need and a want real quick. Yeah. So in those moments, it makes me sit with myself and ask myself the hard questions like, okay, why do you respond this way when such and such does this? Or why do you react this way? Or just in answering those questions, I was able to see myself, operating my gift. So if there were moments where I'm on a gig or I'm performing an open mic and I'm acting like a little scared or a little nervous, it's like, okay, that's normal. But with what you say you're trying to do, you got it. Let's go. Like, I feel like I adopted like an athletic mindset, especially when it came to performing. So I would learn a new song every time I performed, and I would make sure I was pushing myself not only vocally but stage presence wise. Like, and this is perfect because y'all understand coming from church. All I had done prior to that was praise and worship and choir. So in my mind. And that's what makes the Sunday service story so crazy. When I moved here, I'm like, I'm not working with no church no more. I'm not working with choirs no more. Like, I've done that. Like, I'm trying to move into the secular way. You know what I'm saying? Like, right. So for that to come full circle it was just like, no, you need to operate in what you have already. Walk in it, and that's just adding to it at this point. So. It just really just boosted my confidence. And of course, there are moments where I'd be like, "Ooh, I don't feel like I got it today." But I feel like where I am now, especially after doing Kanye Sunday service and, teaching all the rehearsals and being assistant director and really fine tuning the sound of the choir, I believe I'm bulletproof at this point because working with somebody like Kanye who will change his mind at the drop of a dime, or will completely change the whole concept at the drop of a dime. It's like, okay, let's go. You got to show up.
So that brings me to a question that I just need to know the answer to. What was it like putting Amazing Grace to back that thing up? Because that was some interesting hodgepodges and mixes that y'all put together. You know what I'm saying?
Nice mashup.
Who did that? Who did Amazing Grace and back that ass up? I would remember that.
Faithful. It was So Faithful. The Genuine joint.
Yeah, so anxious and you know what I'm saying, or whatever it was. Yeah, like, come on. I was like, all right, this is taking me to a place where I want to body roll and throw my hand up. I don't.
That's so funny. And it's funny because Kanye picked all the songs. So every song that we did, we would present stuff to him as ideas, but pretty much it was his final say. So all those songs he picked. So he had the idea for So Anxious and everything. And our team came together. Nikki was our amazing writer. And we would come in after she wrote and arrange it and just fine tune it for the choir, for the voices and everything. And it was just some of those like that. It's just like, oh yeah, we going there. We going there.
Meet me at 11:30. I love it when you're talking
every
dirty.
single day. You're worthy.
But the funny thing is, like that's not nothing new. Anybody that grew up in church,
Right.
especially like I wasn't allowed to listen to secular music for real. Only time I really listened to secular music went to my dad's house on the weekends, and then at one point where I just listened to it, my mom was like, you know what, I'm not gonna fight this fight no more. Have at it. She said, just don't make it loud in the house. But we made up church songs off of off of secular music, so it wasn't
still
anything.
Do.
Yes, still do.
At the drop of a hat, like
yeah, it's nothing. So within kind of keeping within that, how did in terms of faith, right? How did you, I guess, merge or mesh the two, or what was your framework coming from a churchy environment? I'm gonna say churchy environment, then going to a heavily secular environment, and then now being in a secular yet churchy environment. Like, what was that faith transition, or was there a transition during that process from leaving Chicago to going to LA?
Oh, absolutely. Definitely a transition of faith, because in that time of sitting with myself, I had to even ask myself the question, why do I believe what I believe?
Ooh, good question.
Do I believe it just because my parents told me to, and that's just
Great
what
question.
I did all my life? Or is this something that I know in my soul? You know what I'm saying? So
Right.
being able to answer those questions, maneuvering through different music camps and this industry, there's definitely a lot of things that go on. And for me, I had to do a lot of unlearning from the church. So stuff that I was holding myself down or being shameful or being whatever, it's just like, is that tradition or is that God? Or is that relationship? You know what I'm saying? Like, so I really have to decide for myself what is what. So I'm still myself maneuvering through these situations.
Yeah.
Now getting to Sunday service, it was a little different because majority of the choir grew up in church. So it was mutual understanding. And these are some of the best singers from around the country. A lot of them being based here in LA. But you know, a lot of people. So we definitely, a lot of us had that upbringing, and from how it started to where it transitioned to, before I took my absence, it only started off as positive, like just positive energy. Like those were his main words. He wanted to take his songs and a few other songs that he liked and just bring positivity into a space. It was a very small room, you know, with a few people that he invited and everything. So it was cool for what it was, you know. But it was only supposed to be one time. It was only supposed to be one Sunday.
Interesting. Okay.
And so every Sunday after that, it was kind of like are we back this week, or are we, you know? And then we would be back, and then it became a sure thing. And then, you know, I believe that he always was familiar with God and everything, but this was his babe in Christ era, if that makes sense.
It makes
perfect
sense.
Yeah, babe in Christ era. And yeah, he was very adamant, especially in the writing process, of us using lyrics straight from scripture. So if we would present him with an idea, he'd be like, all right, where's the verse that backs this up? So we would have to present that as well. And it really, for me, especially being in a leadership position at that point, I'm no stranger to being a leader. But it was really pulling on me different ways. Granted, because I'm now older. At the time, I was like, 27, 28, or 26. And so it was like, not only do you have to be a leader, but you have to contribute to helping to feed these singers so we can feed and pour out to the people. So that was a journey in itself, for sure.
Steve, you are our people. Let me just say that, okay? Because I mean, all of this makes so much sense. And Bryan and I have had several conversations on the pod, off the pod, about some of these same things, right? What it means to unlearn a lot of the stuff that. So me and Bryan both grew up Kojic, right? So staunch. You know what I'm saying?
Holiness.
Holiness.
You can't join in. You got to be born in.
All of that. Now, I was a caveat. I came in around second grade. So it might, I think I kind of But no, like
Okay.
so we grew up navigating that early adulthood, and it wasn't until like Ron, would you say? Well, it was 30s for you, maybe late
It was
20s for me.
30, nigga.
But somewhere around like the late 20s when we really started figuring out, like, wait a
Yeah.
minute, all of this ain't all of that, right? And we're still in
Yes.
that journey of unlearn, and then sometimes relearning, picking some stuff up, right, that we probably threw away, but like framing it for what works in the framework of our lives today and how we're navigating and we're living those things out. So that's like that resonates so much with us and likely our audience as well. I wonder though, in all of that for you, what would you say was one of the biggest shifts for your approach to theology and Christianity altogether as you're navigating this expansive journey in music?
Well, I feel like my biggest, what was the wording that you used? Because I want to use the same wording.
Yeah, you're like this your new approach or perspective, right, to theology and Christianity. Yeah.
So my new approach to theology and Christianity actually came in college. Before I even did any of this, I went to a Christian college.
Okay.
I went to a Christian college, and we had to take like Old Testament, New Testament class. Okay. So the last day of the Old Testament class, I think we done took the final and everything. The professor stands up in front of the class and just says, I don't believe any of the stories in the Bible in the Old Testament are actually real. Like, I don't believe they actually happened. And when I tell you the class went up, like, what do you mean? What do you mean you don't believe? Like, and that was so mind blowing to me at the time, because at the time I'm like, if you say you're a Christian and I say I'm a Christian, we believe the same thing. And I'm like, that does not mean that. And I'm like, wow. So it really allowed me to be a little more open-minded. So I think that's the biggest shift of my faith and just how I look at religion. We're all out here living in our own world, if that makes sense. So our worlds, they inhibit like a lot of the things that we only think about or our only perspective. So it's just so interesting hearing how people, just break that down and do that. I feel like the next big awakening was, just being in a space of being honest with myself, in that alone time of sitting with myself, asking myself the questions, and really getting to a place where I can love myself in spite of things that are deemed wrong in Christianity or deemed abominable or whatever.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
I'm no longer going through the shame. I'm no longer going through the hurt and guilt of beating my own self up, when I believe God is looking at me like, I got you. You know what I'm saying? And traditions of church, especially the Black church, will have you in that state, from traditionalism.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's the thing. The unlearning, relearning, all that kind of stuff. That's something we always talk about on the podcast. And that I think one of the things that kind of changed me was the idea of when Christ talked about like God being like our heavenly Father. And I have a daughter now. Guilt and shame don't exist.
Ooh, yes.
You know what I'm saying? Like with your kids, like even if they make mistakes, you're like, you know what? You made a mistake. Does it frustrate me sometimes? Sure, but like it's come on, let's keep it rocking. So I think just getting married changed some things, having a child changed some things, and it's not really for church episode, but my whole theological thought process is love God, love each other,
Love people,
love yourself, and that's it. And the biggest way you show God that you love Him is by treating each other right. And the best way you can treat other people right is if you treat yourself right. So all of the other, I'm not throwing away 66 books. I'm not throwing away what I don't know what the New Testament
Brian,
is.
That's what he said though. He said all that is.
That's
in
what
these
Jesus
two
said.
things.
It's in
That's
red.
what Jesus said.
It's in red.
He said all of that is in these two things. So I don't know why we got to add more to it, right?
Yeah.
No, that's
and
good.
that came from me sitting down. Again, we're not trying. This is supposed to be a music episode, but the Lord was like, you know what? Forget everything you ever heard. Forget everything you ever thought of, and I'm gonna show you what it is, and that's what it was. It's like, so I live my life like, nigga, whatever. Like, no condemnation. Anybody gonna tell me nothing about my life? None of the things. Like, I'm gonna do what I want to do when I want to do it. How I'm gonna do it is between me and him, and we good. So that's just for those out there. Again, this is supposed to be a music episode. So Josh, I'm gonna shift to a music question. But do you want to add anything to that, Josh?
Y'all finna have me shout up in here. Hold on.
I'm just saying, Bryan. You said if you want to transition it to music, you said it is what it is. You know,
right?
And Trillville said what it is. What's up? And that's it. That's it. Because it just is what it is, right?
It is what it is. Like never mind. I can.
We can go. No, me and Bryan we'll get stuck. If you talk about church and music, we'll get stuck. But I'm gonna say this too. It's just something else that I just want to throw out here since we got you. We also saw that you work with Ty Dolla $ign. And I've made, first of all, Ty Dolla $ign got the Holy Ghost. I don't care what nobody say. You see how that man lays a vocal. Now, Money Showers is Fat Joe and Remy Ma's song. That is Ty Dolla $ign's song, right? All of that, that's just that. But here's the take that I've told Bryan before, right? Nate Dogg walk, so Ty Dolla $ign can run.
Yeah, and I'm not going to and I'm a Nate Dogg stan. West Coast all day. But I would agree with that wholeheartedly.
I agree with that too.
He did.
And he's an all-around musician too. Even working with him, he played drums, he played bass, guitar, like probably keys too. Like, and he could sing. Like, so I'm like, yeah.
He rides a track. He rides a track.
Yeah.
Oh, don't get me stuck on that. All right, so there's been a ton of conversation. So I saw, again, did our research. You recently turned 30. So congratulations to that.
Big 3-0.
It is better on this side.
It is.
It is really good on this side. It really is.
It's feeling good.
Yeah. Sometimes my knees are ache.
Back pains randomly.
Just because. But beyond that, right? And I'm only 3 years into this thing. Bryan can probably get this both a lot more wisdom.
I'm 8 years into this thing.
Yeah,
it's okay.
You are.
Proudly, my nigga.
But no, so that means though, right? Understanding where you are in age, there's probably and your musical history, there's a certain appreciation you probably have for 90s R&B, which Bryan and I believe is one of the best eras of R&B. There's a lot of conversation that would suggest that R&B is dead, right? Do you think that is true? Or do you think that the generation that's coming up now just embraces and approaches R&B in a very different way?
I think that's what it is. And first of all, I hate that conversation.
I hate it too.
R&B is dead.
Because it ain't
it's like what? No, sonically it's changed. You know, music has changed sonically, you know.
Yep.
Especially since the 90s. But what has also changed is what it takes to be an artist. Like there is no emphasis on talent anymore. It's the emphasis on everything else. So the emphasis is on your social media. If you got a podcast or if you got some type of something that has nothing to do with music and performing, which is what in the 90s is what made it what it was, you know, timeless records, but also when you get to see and perform live and it's taken to a whole nother level. A big understanding for me that I noticed that people listen to music or accept music differently. I'll never forget. I was like, 16, 17 in my car in Chicago, and I have a younger sister. So when she in my car, I'm just bumping tunes. I'm bumping. At this time, I'm not really like hype off what's on the radio. I'm a deep dive album type guy. So a track 6 or a track 9, I'm gonna run them out. I'll never forget one day we was riding. She was like, boy, turn this love shit off. I was like, and I'm like, do you hear what's happening right now? Do you understand? But she was like, turn on some, like, she just trying to turn up. Now, granted, she was like 14 or something at the time, but I'm like, damn, this is really how people think. Like, sometimes they only want to hear stuff to vibe to. And now I'm in the place where I understand that. I'm like, okay, cool. But to me, that ain't never gonna trump like classic records, classic performances, great performances, solid singers, solid performance. Like nothing will ever trump that for me.
Listen, I agree. Me and Bryan will get stuck on lyrics too because we'll just hear like going back to that Jodeci Drew Hill. Well, Jodeci is my premier group, but Beauty. by Drew and the Hill. Sorry, didn't notice you there. But again, you didn't notice me. Woo! And we remain passers-by until the next time we speak. Woo! Hoping I can make you mine.
Listen, man, steal your heart.
And
that was so dope because I got to sing that with them last year on the Trumpet Awards. Like, yeah, they was, yeah.
Come on,
tell the people about your life. Come
so
on,
I got to just see him live last November. They did a concert in Austin. I was down there, and but to that point though, those lyrics, right? We don't hear that kind of storytelling, and I think it's okay, right? I'm with a lot of the new R&B. Chris Brown, right, is me and Brian's R&B king, right? And some of his music has been consistent over the last couple of years. That's a way to phrase it.
I would agree.
Yeah, it has been consistent. But even some of the newer stuff, right? It's a lot of sex infused, it's real vibey, and that's cool, right? But something about 90s R&B that just hits a little different. Piggybacking on that question about this new generation, Bryan and I asked this question last year. We're going to ask you, why aren't men begging in R&B no more?
Because you a simp, you a munch, you whatever the words of today is,
right?
You know,
like
I think
that's crazy.
I think, yeah.
No, I'm sorry. I was sorry to cut you off.
Oh no, you good.
No,
Yeah,
I'm sorry. I got a delay. My bad. There's a delay.
You good? Go ahead.
No. You go. You're the guest.
I forgot what I was gonna say, so go ahead.
My bad. Yeah, I was gonna say basically, I think it's sad that vulnerability and emotions are like a weakness to people. Like that's a sad thing. Like, well, this nigga's a simp. He's weak. So either you're gonna be taken advantage of, or this is and that. So we have these random conversations about like you said, they're munch, they're this, they're that. So then we switch from emotions to just like popping pussy and. We gonna just smash. Is all the lyrics are gonna be because I want no feelings
we want
involved.
The pussy to be popped, right?
Yeah,
but at the same
which is
time,
fine.
Right. At the same time.
At the same time, let's put some emotion in there, some love into that. So that's basically that. So let's switch a little bit. I was listening to a podcast that I listen to very frequently, R&B Money podcast. With Tank and Jay Valentine.
Love the R&B Money podcast.
Pretty great podcast. Great podcast.
Great
I love
content.
hearing stories. And Jay Valentine, person didn't grow up in church, doesn't really know the things. He said the reason why R&B music isn't the same because kids don't go to church no more. What are your thoughts on that statement?
Absolutely 100% true. Now, I'm going to say 99.9 because I've met some people that didn't even grow up in church and are fire. So I'm like,
I believe it.
Okay, I don't know where you came from, but
right.
But like for a lot of us, church is like artist development in a way.
Yes.
Especially in Chicago, Oh, and this is kind of what turns me off in some ways from church. It was like, I'm not moving until you make me feel something. You know what I'm saying? And so people grow up like knowing how to get to things because they've been cultivated. And not saying every church is like that. It's specifically for me because I loved it. Like that's something that I wanted to do all the time. I'm in a choir. I'm going to every church. I'm going to every, and to me, that's not only making me comfortable in my gift, but in those moments where I'm leading, I'm getting to understand my voice. I'm getting to try new things. I'm getting to, just have fun with it. Of course, this is all in reverence to God and in praise to God. But yeah, I think a lot of the, we already know this, a lot of the best singers and artists have come from the church.
Yeah. The artist
and
development.
the reason why there is no artist development anymore, I don't believe. Like, I've been in some positions within the last year or so where I'm starting to develop a few artists and a few groups. And I'm just like, yeah, this is needed because these labels and these people will only go off numbers, now, and I get it because it's about the money too at the same time. But if the money is trumping the talent, it's just like, this is some bullshit. I can't receive that.
Yeah, I 100% agree because I think the artists back in the day. Think about Motown. You said Motown is one of your favorite of all time.
Oh, don't get me started.
Like all of those artists that they actually brought out, they could stand the test of time. Like you could put them on stage. People are still coming to see Otis at this point. Like
They are, because he's the only
they're
one
coming to
left.
see Otis. They're coming to see Otis at this point. But they stand the test of time. Those songs stand the test of time. Like Smokey out here slinging penis on the stage right now.
Ooh, gasms.
Gasm.
Gasms. The singers needed an album.
Listen, he 89 is still on stage giving it to us. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, but that's artist. I think that's artist development. Like, and it's a thing. And Casey and JoJo and Mary J. Blige, like Usher still sounding like Usher from My Way. Like it's
yes.
And these newer artists, like to your point, like they get famous off social media, off of TikTok, but there's really no foundation. There's no basis. They're not going to, no disrespect, they're not going to last for another 10, 15 years. It's just going to be a phase.
But you want to also know the other crazy thing is, and this is, I'm talking about the consumer now. A lot of people don't like people that can actually sing. They want them like regular, you know, and
that's so interesting.
It's preference. At the end of the day, music is preference, and you will never hear me arguing in a debate about which artist is better, because it's all preference at the end of the day.
Yeah.
Unless we're talking about like ticket sales or whatever, which is a whole nother conversation. But as far as some people don't like that. Like some people just can't even get into it. Or what a lot of us that have come from church too is, this is a double-edged sword, because yes, this prepares you for the industry, but also some people can't comprehend all the things that we're doing vocally or doing musically. It's too much, you know? So even sometimes crossing over from church into like pop or R&B, it's like pulling it all the way back.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Not doing all the things that we're used to doing, or all the isms, you know, and it's like, this is a different soundscape. This is a different feeling, you know?
Yeah, that makes sense.
That makes a ton of sense. But I enjoy good singing, and I want to ask you this. I got two questions. One of them is a this or that, and one of them is a little known fact about Steve. You said you love Motown. The emotions or the surprise?
Emotions.
You ain't failed yet.
Yeah.
Because when I tell you that woman, when she sang The Best of My Love, now I love some Diana Ross. I love Tracy Ellis and the Rosses. But Diana wasn't singing to that man the way that woman was singing The Best of My Love to that man. You see what I'm saying? What do the lonely do for Christmas, Steve? Okay. Little known fact. What was your first church solo?
I don't even know the name of this song.
Okay.
Or who sings it. We just want to praise you, dear Jesus, for all the many things that you have done. Countless blessings undeserved you daily give us. Unseen dangers that your hands has kept us from. I do not know whose song that is, but that was like one of my first leads at church.
You could have kept singing, brother.
You could have kept going. You could set us up.
We love singing here. I love
singing, and I can't sing a lick, but we gonna do it anyway. We gonna do it anyway.
Now I gotta find the name of that song. I gotta figure out what that
sounds. It might have been just how you sang it, but it sounds like commissioned-ish. It was real nice and smooth and velvety. That was nice. I
want to say it's one of the mass choirs. One of them.
What happened to the mass? Every state had a mass choir.
Yep. Chicago mass still going strong.
They are.
Really? They still doing their thing.
Okay, I think Mississippi in there holding on too. Everybody just sitting about 78 plus, but they're still there because they're not tired yet. All right.
At all.
So let's shift. Let's jump right on back to secular. Now we talked about the R's and the B's. Rap music is in its 50th year. And it's so ironic that we've seen so many celebrations. We've definitely seen the evolution of rap, because the hip hop and the hip to the hip hop is very different, right, to the mumble and the trap and the stuff that we experience today. However, like rap and hip hop has not only influenced culture but kind of dominated the billboards in a way. This year, though, however, ain't none of them made number one.
Really?
Yeah. Do you think that the power and the punch of hip hop is being diluted in any way? Or like why, any explanation from you, like why do you think that we're in this kind of new uncharted territory with rap music? Like it's still popular, but it's not charting like it used to.
Yeah, that's interesting. I didn't even know that. I feel as though, as much as I love it, I feel like TikTok got something to do with that too. Because that's how artists are breaking these days. But yeah, I feel like rap and hip hop, they express the culture, and because over these last 50 years, it's been idolized by those who aren't black. It's been a hot commodity for those not in the black culture. It's been trendy things. Then, and don't even get me started on AAVE and slang and all the things. Now it's becoming a worldwide, not becoming, it's a worldwide thing. It's giving, or it's like just all the words, all the wording that people that we say, or even the LGBTQ community has made up, and everybody outside of that pulls from that. So in a way, I feel as though it's being diluted by other cultures, but and it's being diluted because we aren't in the rooms, or on the boards of these things to make our even presence shown, like, intentionally, not just taking our stuff and putting another name on it. So in a way, that isn't what I just said. Is I don't think has to do exactly with hip hop, but in a way it does. Like, because that's where a lot of people get their information. That's why a lot of these white kids yelling nigga at these festivals, or what I'm saying, like it's very deep, and I find myself kind of very perplexed and very low some days, because I'm like, not only am I in pursuit of just growing in myself as a man, and in my career musically and the things that I want to do, but I feel like I have some type of obligation to us, to our people, not only to give back, but it's just like, so we can walk in our power more, what I'm saying? So we can collaborate more, so we can build our things more, so yeah.
Yeah. I would agree with that. I'm a gatekeeper in terms of, I believe we should gatekeep some things, hip hop being one of those things that where we can, it was ours. There should be a certain, limitation to what can and cannot go on the radio, what we should and should not listen to, all the stuff like that. And also, like you said, TikTok, people are making music for TikTok instead of making it for the masses or the radio. Like the radio is where the music was at some point. But before we wrap up, Josh, anything you want to add to that?
No, not at all. That was 100% on, and I do think, especially when we talk about like TikTok, and I think what you mentioned about even R&B, I said no, I didn't want to add anything, and here I am doing addition. But what you said about, like, even with R&B, like, people are more concerned about the vibes. I think even with rap, people are more concerned about, like, the ability to make it a dance hit, right? The ability to,
yes,
you know what I'm saying? Like, it is what can be viral, what is hot right now versus what's actually good, right? And I know this album is not rap, but like Janelle Monáe's Age of Pleasure, chef's, and I'm not even a huge Janelle Monáe fan, but I was in. You brought up something great, like hearing it in the performance. So I was in LA when she hosted her listening party. And when I got back, so I was there. Amazing event. Shout out Janelle, shout out Amazon, everybody else who helped put that on. But when I got back to the airport and I listened to it, like all the vibes from that night came back. I was able to like really reminisce in her performance of it. First of all, that was my first official listening party too. Like, look, they played that album 3 times, so I know it at this point.
Yeah.
But like, just like pieces like that aren't getting the love that I feel like they deserve, right?
Not
and then even like Kendrick Lamar's last album, which was a lot more artsy, a lot more thought provoking, right? What didn't get the love, and even like Drake, if we're gonna keep it a buck, like he's still Drake, but he's not piercing through, right, in many ways, like some of the other stuff. I mean, we got a question a little bit later for you that's gonna speak to that, but like some of the other stuff that's piercing through. Like, I'm from Memphis, so Big Low is my girl, even though Even though Big Glow sounds like her veneers are a little too big, I still mess with her and I love her success. But like, but it is those things, right? That's kind of piercing through over, right? Some of the stuff that we would, I guess, this group of us right here would traditionally probably be a little more in tune with. So, Bryan, that was my addition. And if are we done with official questions? We can get to the last culture code, or
yes, I think
okay,
we're done with the
I'm ready because I'm ready for this.
All right, so this is culture code.
Okay.
So this is culture code 2. All right. So first question is one album for the rest of your life. What would that be?
Ooh.
Why he's thinking, Bryan, is your answer still the same?
I don't remember
Yeah,
my
what's
answer.
your answer?
So
my
Bryan's
changes
was
daily.
And the one I remember, bro, is Mama's Gun.
Ooh, that's a good album. That could be. I can forever. I can listen to Good Kid, Mad City on repeat. Like that is yes. And that could actually be that could be the soundtrack to my life. Like Good Kid, Mad City. The idea of you're being a good kid, church kid, but you live in a mad city, and there's all these vices and things around, and you want to do both, but you know you're fighting that battle.
I love that.
What about you, Josh?
D'Angelo's Brown Sugar. You absolutely know that is my top to bottom. Okay. Yeah, and speaking of Motown, Steve, Cruising is no longer Smokey's song. D'Angelo's version is far superior. The other album on any given day is Chance the Rapper's Coloring Book. I am a huge Chancellor Bennett fan. Like, if you want to see me fanboy out, you put that man anywhere near me, and I am going to absolutely lose all control. But yeah, those would be the two. But if I had to just narrow it down to one, is D'Angelo's Brown Sugar without hesitation or doubt.
Can't go wrong there.
So I would say mine. I'm gonna give two too. I'm gonna give To Pimp a Butterfly.
Oh,
that's a good one.
For me, that changed my 2015. I was like, this nigga rapping over jazz.
Bruh.
So that, and also Channel Orange.
Good one.
Yeah, that's a solid.
Like that's
think about you.
That's a body of work. But even what was his mixtape? Nostalgia. Before that, y'all remember that? He had some bops on that. That wasn't an album, but that is a project that I can listen to all the way through too.
Yeah, he's a good artist. He needs to come back with something new. I feel like what is I haven't even heard anything new from Frank Ocean, but I think he kind of created the vibes, like that transition to just like great music and artistry and singing, but like chill music. Oh yeah.
And I think he was one of the last artists to really kind of have that. You don't see him on social media. You know what I'm saying? You don't see him. He at the crib or wherever he at. And I think that's what's so appealing to me too, because you know, as artists and as creatives these days, it's like if you ain't posting, it ain't happen. If you ain't posting, nobody cares. You know what I'm saying? So it's like that's just very corny to me. And it's just like outside of all this, like life needs to happen too. Like we need to still live our lives. But
right. Yep. I agree. All right. Next question. Opening song to your biopic. Why are you thinking? I'm gonna say mine. Mine is California Love. California Love. Josh?
It is a hood anthem. It is That's What's Up by Yo Gotti. It's been a long time coming. A lot of dope running. Hustling, trying to dodge these cases. The streets been yelling and you niggas been begging. So I had to take it back to the basics. It's the intro to my life, intro to my world. Ridgecrest Apartments, moving that white girl. Posted up on that corner, selling that marijuana. Glock strapped up my hip, holler about you and wanna. That's it. And I ain't sold a nary drug ever in my life. But that has to play when those credits start rolling in the beginning.
As y'all can see, I'm terrible at this. So
it's okay.
No. It's fine. These me and Bryan have had time. We've had time with these questions. So. Don't think we didn't struggle when we first thought about it.
I guess my biopic at this point in my life, maybe Hollywood by Shaka Khan.
Come on, Shaka.
Okay.
He's on his way hooking up to Hollywood. I love
We
that
love
song.
a Shaka.
And J.
Now-
Cole. And J. Cole sampled that.
Yep. Okay. Next question. Favorite Beyonce album?
The one's the only one. No, I'm just playing. Low key, my favorite. I really loved Renaissance, but I'm gonna give one before Renaissance.
Okay.
Maybe Dangerously.
Dangerously in Love. Okay.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. I feel like she just has she got a lot of hits on that one. What's your answer?
4.
Okay, no, I'm not changing my answer, but it's 4. She was in her bag.
4 is a body.
4 is
She was
mine.
in her
4 is mine.
bag.
Yes.
All right, I
And
changed my answer.
And I Care is my all-time favorite Beyonce song. And
Yes,
like she shows her range, the diversity of like the music. I mean, she is vocally on point. It is just for the folks who say that Beyonce is not a vocalist, they have problems. Because if for no other album, she proved that so much on 4. And it's just, I don't know, those songs on there are timeless. The features are great. It is top to bottom. There is no skips. Except I'd Rather Die Young. It's a little bit problematic.
Yeah,
But
I don't
it's
really
a
like that
great
one.
song. It's a great
I get it, but
it's a great song.
I don't know if I'd rather die young.
You know, I think every artist got a song. You'd be like, wait a minute, I'm not saying that. But yeah, 4 is just 4.
Mm-hmm.
That's how I chose my Renaissance shirt. When we didn't know what they looked like, I was like, I'm gonna choose number 4 because I just feel like she's gonna give us the best shirt if I pick that number.
Yeah. I went to it's cool because when you go to like concerts and you've actually been in concerts before, but when you go to concerts and you go off of the album that's like your album, it's like I went to the hit different. So I went to the concert off of 4. So I bought my wife 2 tickets to Beyonce and she would take her friend with her, and her friend backed out. We went to Nashville, went to the concert, and that's when I'm not in the hive, but listen, I be eating honey all the time because nigga, like that was an album. She was zip gliding and stuff like that, and
she's gonna put on a show.
Oh, she's gonna put
on a show, and that's what I really love about working with her. It's like when you step on the stage, you're gonna know what's going on. You're gonna know what's happening. You're gonna be well prepared. I Care was one of my favorite songs to sing with her. Like.
No, you don't care too much. But I still care.
Nah.
Can you give us a little A selection? No, I'm joking. A little piece of I Care.
Ooh, so good. My God, it's so
okay.
good. Mm-hmm.
All right. I'm a do. Do you want a funny question or a introspective question? Got 2 questions left. Which one do you want to end with? A funny or retrospective? Introspective.
Funny.
Okay. You want to end with funny or you want to? Okay. I'm gonna let you end with funny. End with funny. Okay. So the more introspective one is, how do you want to be remembered?
I personally want to be remembered as a man that was unashamed, unapologetically himself, and loved everybody. Like, and was never scared to say what he felt, speak up for himself. Like, and also great at what he does. Great musically. Has been in great original music that has stood the test of time. Movies that I've been in. Soundtracks that I've produced on.
Talk about it.
All the
Put
things.
your resume
the people
on
that
the
I've
table.
helped.
Talk about it. Put your resume out.
People that
it's okay.
And I'm still thinking future, like the things that are to come.
Yeah, tell you could. It on some podcasts they like frown on people, telling the people about themselves. We love it here. We enjoy it.
Hype yourself up, black man.
Listen, you did the things. You did it. Talk about it.
And even though you didn't become a dentist, you even got good teeth. You've done the things.
Look at it.
I mean, look at it.
Skin is just immaculate.
You know what I'm saying? Hair is black. Hair is hair and black. Listen.
Come on.
We gonna gas you up over here.
Come on.
We will. We
Come
will.
On. I love it.
All right, last question. Finish this line.
Okay. See, I don't even like how he laughing right now.
Yeah.
Finish this line.
I brought it back down. Go ahead.
I'm out of town, thugging with my rounds.
my coochie pink, my booty all the fact that is like gone the way that it has, it's like
It's wild.
that's crazy as hell. That's crazy as hell.
And the fact that she did that in front of the ambassador Bobby Jones this past Sunday.
But have y'all seen her explain like the lyrics or like seen any of her interviews talking about like how she came up?
I need to see that.
Please find it because she's like, everybody coochie ain't pink, everybody booty hole ain't brown. You know, y'all have to go watch it. Please. I don't even know her name, but please go watch it.
Oh, wow.
I can only imagine.
That. Wow. Okay. Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
All right. So that wraps up this segment of the show. It does. So we do this next segment called Pocket of Joy. We talk about what we're doing intentionally for self-care. You got a couple of minutes to hang with us and talk about it?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, let's get into it.
All right. Appreciate it.
You couldn't do it. You bring me down. Couldn't do it. You could never ever bring me down. Couldn't do it then.
All right, Puzzle Pieces, thanks for sticking around. For those that aren't familiar with this segment, it's called Pockets of Joy, where we talk about what we're intentionally doing to bring us joy. So, Steve, what are you doing or what have you been doing to intentionally bring you joy?
I have a morning routine now. I never had one prior. And not to say like this is top tier morning routine. Like some days is better than others. But, you know, I wake up, I have a moment. I try to get up. My alarm goes off at 7:30 because I like to try to get to the gym before the big rush. So I make sure I pray. I have to pray. I got to pray for the day. Sometimes I wake up and my mind is just like thinking about hella stuff. And I'm like,
yeah,
okay, let me bring it in. And what I've been doing also now in my prayers, just praying for, you know, not only myself, my family, other things, friends and all that, but like affirming myself also and affirming, you know, the places where I've been doing the work or that I see could use a little more attention. I'm intentionally affirming those spaces. And a lot of times that happens in the morning and I take a walk around my neighborhood. So that actually gets me up, gets me moving. I go to the gym, get a little sweat, and then I'm ready for the day. So things in addition to that include like skating. You know, I feel like I'm an intermediate skater, but I've been in skate classes, skate lessons and everything. Like that's just literally just fun for me. Yeah, those are a few things.
Okay. Josh?
So my mama come in town tomorrow.
Come on, Mom.
So Pockets of Joy is going to be leaning into that care, right? She is going to cook, right? And I'm going to allow her to grandparent her children for a little bit. You know, I'm just going to lean into that presence while she's here. She's under my roof now, right? So I'm going to, you know what I'm saying? I'm going to let her be a guest, but I'm going to also enjoy all the maternal things that being around parents bring. And my dad is gonna be here too. I love him too. Shout out to my pops. But you know, yeah, I'm gonna be a son.
Okay.
Son. How about you, Bryan?
I'm taking the weekend off. I'm not doing anything this weekend. I am just relaxing. No work, no chores, no nothing. Just chilling at the house.
You love that.
Yes. Saying no to everything.
You still getting your workouts in? Is that still?
I am. Weight loss count. I am down 12 pounds.
I love the consistency, Bryan.
Look at it.
This brings me joy. We've been working on this for years.
I gain, I lose. I gain, I lose.
It's not even about the gain. It's about, you know, the movement.
The movement.
The gain, the lose, you know, it's about the movement. I want to see you healthy, brother. You're almost 40.
Me too. I am.
Yeah.
I am.
Yeah. All right.
Bless you.
Steve, thank you so much for being on the show, man.
Thank y'all.
Like to say we enjoyed you would be an understatement. It has been absolutely amazing to talk to you. But before we get off, like tell the people some things maybe you got going on, any announcements you have coming up, and how they can connect with you.
Yes. Well, thank you guys again. This has been amazing. Enjoy talking with you guys. And thank you guys for listening too. If you want to keep up with me, feel free to follow me on Instagram at need_Steve. NEEDFOR _Steve. And I'm also, for those that are looking to be in the music industry, if you sing, if you play an instrument or anything, I have started my own business um, to help those who are looking to get into the industry. So tips of what you can do. Like, not everybody needs to move to LA. So what you could be doing in your city, or what you could be doing on your own to continue to propel yourself forward. And you can follow that page at Live Now Culture, LIVENOW Culture.
Love it. Bryan, we need to hit up Steve so we can put out a mixtape.
We do.
I feel
Let's
like
go.
we have it in us to put out a
I
mixtape.
think so.
Okay.
Let's go.
Mixtape dreams.
Bruh, let me talk. Oh, let me talk.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for sticking around for a greater conversation. This is where we get some things off of our chest. I say it every single week. Tomorrow's not promised. Cuss them out today. Josh, is there something you want to get off your chest?
No, man. Today's been a great day.
Yes.
And I'm going to, there's some things I could talk about and maybe should talk
Mhm.
about. But I'm going to choose.
Yeah.
I like living this kind of life. I'm going to say it again. I'm living a blessed life, Bryan. So I'm going to choose joy.
I'm living. I think I'm going to choose joy too. There's probably so many things we can, like you said, talk about, but I'm going to choose joy going into this long weekend.
Yeah.
And we're going to just enjoy the goodness of our Savior.
And listen, speaking of joy, did you hear Pharrell's version, the sample of Joy, whatever that new song is?
Mm-mm.
Oh,
Is it good?
you need to listen to it. It's good. It's churchy. It's good. It's good. It's good.
Speaking of churchy, okay.
Okay.
Hear me out.
All right.
I know you don't kill her Mike. I know you don't kill her Mike.
You know I don't
But
kill a
his-
mic, but
I know you don't kill her
I
Mike.
listened
but his
to I
new
listened to that
album-
Under 3000 Future song at least, Science and Robots or whatever it was.
Yeah, but that album, it's
I looked at the
solid,
track list.
and
He got some solid features too. So I was super tempted. So I might just go ahead and press play.
yeah, just press
Yeah.
play, and it's the theme is like Saint Sinner kind of stuff. So he has
Okay.
some real churchy samples, some Clark Sister samples, some choir samples.
Okay.
It's a solid body of work. I'm not gonna hold you.
Okay.
I
give it a
do
try.
rock with Killer Mike in terms of music, but
I know you do.
If anything,
but
the music is good. Like the
okay.
the sound and the sample is good.
I'm gonna trust you. If you would only trust me. Trust me. All right. This has been another episode of the Jigsaw Podcast. And we thank you as always for joining us and sitting with us. Before we get into additional thank yous to you, the listening audience, we want to do an additional thank you to Steve Epting for coming through and blessing the living room. He is our kind of people. Churchy.
Yes.
Loves music. Down to earth with the jokes.
Yeah.
I mean, just a solid dude. Cannot wait to bring him back and have him in the living room and hopefully connect when he's in Atlanta or we are in LA.
Yep.
We're gonna figure out how we do that. We love making new friends. So thank you, Steve, for coming through. You're always welcome to come back and have good conversation with us. We also want to thank you all for making the show what it is. We know that this show wouldn't be what it is without you. So we thank you for your support, your love, your likes, your shares, all of that good stuff that makes the Jigsaw the Jigsaw.
Yep. Continue to follow us on social media. The Jigsaw Podcast. I am Josh Rogers. I am Bryan Hare. Continue to engage and continue to engage with our stories and our activity and all that kind of stuff. If you have anything, Black care, person, self-care, or pockets of joy, tag us in it. We would love to share what you're doing. If you have any questions, comments, concern, hit us on the DM or you can email us at askthejigsaw or thejigsawpodcast@gmail.com. Any topics, let us know about it as well. Make sure you like, subscribe, leave comments, rate us 5 stars and nothing at all. Before we head out for vacation, because I think we are vacationing next week. Is that true, Joshua?
Yes, we are off the mic next week. So it is not because it's a holiday, but Bryan will be out of town. It's just some challenges with scheduling because of that. Yeah. So we're gonna take a 4th of July break. And we're gonna see y'all coming back next week. And yeah, we love y'all. So hang in there until then.
Yeah. Before we leave out, let the people know what they need to do.
Keep shining. Keep smiling. knowing you can always count on. It's the last one of Black History
Mhm.
Music Month, Bryan. For sure.
Yeah.
That's what
Yes.
friends are for. When they asked Dion to help mitigate that Babyface Anita Baker drama, she said, "Baby, it ain't none of my business." Through good times and bad times, I'll be on your side forevermore. Ooh, that's what friends are. For all you can do is what you can while you can in various ways that you can. But in all you're doing, please, 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 please remember, do not get caught with your work undone. Love y'all. See you in a couple weeks.
Peace.